There are places on this planet that maps fail to explain. 18 islands rise from the North Atlantic, halfway between Norway and Iceland. On most globes, they are a scattering of dots, too small to name, too remote to matter. But step onto these shores and you understand something the map never tells you. This is the Faroe Islands. Here, the ocean is never more than 5 kilometers away. No point on any island sits beyond the sound of wind or the smell of salt. 54,000 people call this place home, spread across 17 inhabited islands, connected by tunnels bored through solid basalt and ferries that run regardless of the weather. In Tórshavn, the capital, morning comes quietly. Fishing boats thread through the harbour past Mykines, the old government quarter where red wooden buildings with grass roofs have watched over the sea for 1,000 years. This is one of the oldest parliamentary sites in the world, a place where laws were spoken aloud long before they were ever written down. Drive 20 minutes in any direction and the city dissolves. Green mountains take over. Sheep outnumber people. Small villages cling to fjords like they have for centuries. Over the next 20 minutes, we will cross these islands from dawn to darkness. Not through postcards, but through the quiet rhythms of daily life. Through the homes, the harbours, the kitchens, and the long, slow evenings when the wind howls outside and the lamps stay lit inside. This is how people live at the edge of Europe. If you stand at the edge of Lake Sørvágsvatn on the island of Vágar, you will swear the water is suspended far above the ocean. It is an optical illusion born of sheer cliffs and angled perspective. The lake sits only 30 meters above the sea, but your eyes refuse to believe it. The Atlantic pounds against the rocks far below, and the lake appears to float in midair. Even when you know the truth, the trick still works. This is the geography of the Faroe Islands. It plays with your senses. The archipelago was carved by volcanic fury some 60 million years ago, when lava poured across these lands and cooled into layers of basalt. Then the glaciers came, scraping and sculpting the rock into the dramatic peaks that define every skyline today. There are 433 named mountains. Sléttaratindur, on the island of Eysturoy, is the highest at 880 meters. From its summit, on a rare clear day, you can see the entire nation laid out below, a chain of green islands stitched together by the grey sea. The land is treeless, not because trees cannot grow here, but because the wind will not allow them. Centuries of gales have shaped a landscape of grass, moss, and low shrubs. What the islands lack in forests, they repay in vertical drama. Cliffs rise 600 meters straight from the sea. Waterfalls drop off the edges of the world, their spray carried sideways by the wind before it ever touches the rocks below. Then there is Mykines, the westernmost island, where the land ends and the Atlantic begins in earnest. Thousands of puffins nest in burrows along the cliffs, their colourful beaks a splash of orange against the grey rock. The island is reachable only by helicopter or small ferry in calm weather. When the sea is rough, Mykines is cut off from the rest of the country entirely. Weather here does not follow schedules. People say you can experience all 4 seasons in a single afternoon. 260 rainy days a year. Storms that arrive without warning. Fog that swallows mountains whole. And yet, this is not a hostile place. It is an honest place. The land does not pretend to be gentle, and the people do not expect it to be. In Klaksvík, on the island of Borðoy, the day begins before the sun. The harbour stirs in the grey light. Fishermen check lines and nets, their breath visible in the cold morning air. Boats slip away from the dock one by one, heading into the fjord and beyond to the open sea. This has been the rhythm for centuries. Wake early, work hard, return with the catch. By 7 in the morning, lights flicker on in kitchens across every island. In the villages, Gjógv on Eysturoy, Saxund tucked into its green valley on Streymoy, the routines are quieter. A farmer walks out to check on sheep grazing steep slopes above the house. A mother prepares breakfast for children who will catch a bus through a mountain tunnel to reach school. The Faroes' morning is unhurried. There is no rush hour. Roads are winding and narrow, and when you encounter another car, both drivers lift a few fingers from the steering wheel in greeting. Everyone shares the same conditions, the same weather, the same understanding that you are all in this together. By midday, Tórshavn comes alive in its understated way. Office workers walk along the harbour for lunch. Cafes serve coffee alongside rye bread topped with smoked salmon. The city has the feel of a village that grew up without losing its soul. It is a place where the Prime Minister might be standing behind you in the bakery queue, and no one thinks anything of it. Afternoon softens. In the outer villages, old men gather on benches overlooking the harbour, watching the ferries come and go. Children ride bicycles down empty roads. Somewhere in the distance, a waterfall plunges off a cliff, its sound a constant white noise the villagers no longer hear because it has always been there. Life follows the light. In summer, when the sun barely sets, people stay out late, walking, fishing, sitting on doorsteps long after what should be bedtime. In winter, when darkness arrives by mid-afternoon, life moves indoors. Candles are lit. Windows glow yellow against the black. The rhythm is set by the world outside the door, and everyone moves to its pulse. Down in Kirkjubø, on the southern tip of Streymoy, some of the oldest wooden houses in the world still stand. The Roykstoven farmhouse has been continuously inhabited by the same family for 17 generations. Its black-tarred timber walls have withstood 6 centuries of Atlantic storms. Inside, the rooms are low-ceilinged and warm, smelling of wood smoke and wool and thyme. This is not a museum. People still light the fire, still gather around the same long table where their ancestors sat. Architecture in the Faroe Islands is architecture of necessity. Traditional houses, black timber on the outside, often with grass roofs, are built low to the ground, their backs turned to the prevailing wind. The grass on the roof is not decorative, it is insulation, holding heat in winter and keeping the house cool in summer. In many villages, the roofs need mowing in the summer months, and you will see a ladder propped against the eaves and someone up top with a scythe, cutting the grass like a farmer working a vertical field. In Saxund, a village of barely a dozen residents, houses cluster together in a narrow valley where a fjord once reached inland before sand closed it off. The black wooden homes with white-framed windows look almost identical, built from the same pattern, the same understanding of what a shelter must be. Inside, every home is different. Photographs on the walls, hand-knitted wool blankets on every sofa, books in Faroese and Danish stacked on shelves. The smell of coffee always present, always offered to anyone who walks through the door. Family in the Faroe Islands is not a private affair. It is the structure upon which everything else rests. Elders are not tucked away in homes. They live with their children, their grandchildren, sometimes 3 or 4 generations under one roof. The family table is the center of gravity. Evening meals are long and unhurried. Children listen to stories in a language that outsiders struggle to pronounce, a tongue descended directly from Old Norse, still rich with words that have vanished everywhere else in the Nordic world. In Gjogv, named for the sea gorge that splits the coastline, children grow up with the ocean as their backyard. Families here are small but tightly connected. The neighbor is also the cousin. The school teacher is also the church organist. The fisherman who delivers your catch in the morning is the same man you sit next to at the community dinner on Saturday night. Homes here are not showcases. They are warm and cluttered with living. Muddy boots by the door, wool sweaters drying on radiators, a pot of soup always on the stove in the colder months. The windows look out onto mountains and sea, and at night, when the lamps are lit and the wind presses against the glass, there is a stillness inside that is rare in the modern world. Food in the Faroe Islands begins with a word that exists nowhere else: rest. It translates loosely to fermentation, but the meaning runs deeper. Rest is the process by which lamb and fish are hung to dry in the open air of the Yala, the traditional drying shed found outside nearly every home, where the salt-laden wind slowly transforms raw meat into something dense, concentrated, and deeply flavorful. This is a 1,000-year-old survival technique. Walk past any home on Vágar or Streymoy in autumn, and you will see the hjalua working. Legs of lamb hang from wooden beams, darkening as the weeks pass. Fish split open and suspended by the tail, their flesh turning from pale white to amber. The wind does the work. The salt in the air is the only preservative. When ready, skirpik jut, the fermented lamb, is sliced thin and served on dense rye bread with a thick spread of butter. Its flavor is earthy, almost nutty, carrying the taste of the grass the sheep grazed on and the salt wind that cured it. The sea provides endlessly: cod, haddock, halibut, salmon. The waters around the Faroe Islands are among the richest fishing grounds in the North Atlantic. The simpler dishes remain the most beloved: boiled cod with potatoes and melted butter, fish soup thick with cream and root vegetables, dried fish torn into strips and eaten as a snack, the way others might eat crisps. On Eysturoy, village bakeries produce bread that is dense and dark, heavy with seeds and whole grains. Rye bread is the foundation upon which many meals are built, topped with smoked salmon, skirpik jut, or sharp local cheese. Faroese meals are not elaborate. They are honest. They taste of the place they come from. Restaurant culture has evolved in Tórshavn. Cox, the Michelin-starred restaurant operating from a remote location near Leinavatn on Streymoy, serves tasting menus built entirely around local ingredients. Fermented lamb, langoustines from the fjords, seaweed harvested from the rocks. The food is exquisite, but even at its most refined, it never forgets where it came from. The heart of Faroe's food culture, however, is not in restaurants. It is in homes. It is in the pot of soup simmering on the stove. It is in the tradition of heimablídni, home hospitality, where families open their doors to visitors and serve meals prepared from their own sheep, their own catch, their own recipes. To eat in the Faroe Islands is to understand the land and the sea in the most intimate way possible. For most of its history, the Faroe Islands survived on what the sea would give. Fishing remains the backbone. Walk the docks of Klaksvík or Fuglafjörður on Eysturoy, and you will see the fleet that feeds the nation, trawlers and longliners that spend weeks at sea before returning with holds full of cod and haddock. The fish are processed in factories that line the waterfront, employing hundreds in work that is physically demanding and deeply respected. Everyone in the Faroe Islands knows someone who works at sea. Everyone understands that the ocean is both provider and threat. In recent decades, aquaculture has transformed the economic landscape. The fjords that once sheltered only small fishing boats are now home to salmon farms, circular pens floating in protected waters, monitored by underwater cameras and feeding systems controlled by computers. The cold, clean waters of the North Atlantic produce exceptional fish, exported to markets across Europe, Asia, and North America. On Eysturoy, the town of Runavík has become a hub for maritime industries, shipping, logistics, and offshore services. The harbour is busy with supply vessels servicing oil rigs in the North Sea. Young people train as marine engineers and navigators. Tourism has grown steadily. Hiking trails cross the mountains. Boat tours navigate the sea cliffs. Photographers arrive in pursuit of puffins and waterfalls. Guest houses have opened in villages that previously had no reason to accommodate outsiders. A new economy is being built, one visitor at a time. In Tórshavn, the service sector has expanded. Government offices, banks, technology companies. The capital has the feel of a small but modern European city. Fiber optic internet reaches every village. Creative industries are growing. Musicians, filmmakers, designers. A generation of Faroese artists is building careers without leaving home. And yet, for all the modernization, the fundamental economy has not lost its roots. Fishermen still leave the harbour before dawn. Farmers still tend sheep on slopes too steep for machinery. The Faroes do not work to escape their environment. They work because of it. Social life in the Faroe Islands is built on proximity and trust. When you live on an island with a few hundred others, community is not optional. In the villages, doors are rarely locked. Neighbours check on each other without being asked. If someone is ill, meals appear at their doorstep. If a fishing boat is short-handed, someone steps in. The social contract is unwritten, but everyone knows its terms. The great gathering of the Faroes year is Ólafsøka, the national festival in Tórshavn, at the end of July. The capital swells with people from every island. The rowing competitions, a fiercely contested tradition with boats built to ancient designs, draw crowds to the harbour. The chain dance, the traditional ring dance dating back to medieval times, continues late into the night. Hundreds of people hold hands and move in a circle, stepping in rhythm, singing ballads that tell stories of heroes and kings from 1,000 years ago. The dance has no instruments, only voices, only footsteps. In quieter months, social life revolves around the home. The tradition of kvöldseta, evening sitting, is still practiced. Someone drops by unannounced. Coffee is made. The conversation flows for hours, touching on family, weather, politics, the price of fish, the state of the world. No one checks their watch. The visit itself is the event. Churches still play a central role. Most villages have a small wooden church with a turf roof and a view of the sea. Sundays bring the community together. Baptisms, confirmations, weddings, funerals. These are communal gatherings, not private ceremonies. Sport is another binding force. The sport that truly captures the Faroes' spirit is rowing. Traditional wooden boats, sleek and narrow, are raced throughout the summer in regattas held in fjords across the islands. The races are intense, the rivalries deep. Rowing connects the modern Faroes to the vessels that once carried their ancestors across these same waters. And always, in the background, there is music. The Faroe Islands produce an extraordinary amount of music for a nation of 54,000. Choirs sing in churches. The traditional ballads are still sung, their melodies haunting and ancient. In a place where the landscape can feel overwhelming, music is how the Faroes process their relationship to the world. No paradise is without its shadows. The Faroe Islands face the same question that haunts small communities everywhere. Will the young people stay? For decades, the answer was no. Young Faroes, particularly women, left for Denmark, for Norway, for anywhere that offered more than the islands seemed able to provide. The population declined. Villages shrank. Schools closed because there were not enough children. The weather, so often romanticized by visitors, wears on those who live with it year after year. The winters are not bitterly cold, but they are dark and they are wet. From November to January, daylight lasts barely 5 hours. The wind that shapes the landscape also shapes the psyche. Depression and seasonal mood disorders are real. The islands are beautiful beyond measure, but beauty does not keep you warm when the rain has been falling for 3 weeks without pause. Isolation is both gift and burden. For those who thrive on solitude and community, the Faroe Islands are a sanctuary. For those who crave variety, the energy of crowds, the anonymity of a city, the islands can feel like a cage. The nearest major city is Copenhagen, a 2-hour flight away. When weather grounds the plains, which happens more often than outsiders realize, The islands become a world unto themselves. There is no bridge to somewhere else. There is only the sea. In the remote villages, places like Gjogv, Saxon, the tiny settlement of Nolsoy on the island of the same name, a 40-minute ferry from Tórshavn, practical challenges accumulate quietly. Medical care requires a long drive or a helicopter flight in emergencies. Schools are small, sometimes with fewer than 10 students across all grades. Young couples who want to build a home struggle with the cost and logistics of living where every piece of timber must arrive by boat. The romance of village life is real, but so is the difficulty. The grinder drap, the traditional whale hunt, has brought international controversy. The practice, involving herding pilot whales into shallow waters for a regulated community hunt, is defended by many Faroese as a sustainable and culturally significant tradition. But the images that circulate globally each year have made the islands a target of condemnation. A small nation, proud of its heritage, finds itself judged by a world that does not always understand. And yet, the population has stabilized. Some who left have returned. Newcomers have arrived, from the Philippines, from Poland, from Denmark, drawn by work and increasingly by something harder to quantify. A quality of life, a pace of existence, a sense that here, at the edge of the world, something has been preserved. The Faroe Islands live in 2 centuries simultaneously. In Tórshavn, the modern world is fully present. Glass-fronted office buildings near the harbour house tech startups and financial services firms. The university conducts research in marine biology and Faroese language studies. Young professionals carry laptops into cafes that would not look out of place in Copenhagen. The mobile network covers even the most remote fjords. A software developer can live in Gjogv and work for a company in London without ever leaving the fjord. The infrastructure tells the story of a nation that chose to connect rather than retreat. The subsea tunnels, engineering marvels bored through basalt beneath the ocean floor, have transformed island life. What once required a ferry ride in rough seas is now a 15-minute drive through a well-lit tunnel deep under the Atlantic. The Eysturoy Tunnel, completed in 2020, features the world's first undersea roundabout, a chamber carved from basalt where roads diverge beneath the sea. It is a cathedral of stone lit in colours, and it has cut travel times across the islands dramatically. At Vaga Airport, the gateway to the islands, the runway was built by British military engineers during the Second World War. Today, Atlantic Airways connects the Faroe Islands to Copenhagen, Edinburgh, Reykjavik, and beyond. The isolation of the past has been replaced by a carefully managed connectedness. And yet, tradition does not yield. Walk through Tinganes in Tórshavn, and you are walking through the same narrow lanes where Viking chieftains gathered over 1,000 years ago. The chain dance is still danced. The ballads are still sung. The shallow still hang with drying meat outside modern homes. Teenagers text on smartphones while wearing hand-knitted wool sweaters patterned with designs their grandmothers taught them. The tension between modern and traditional is not a conflict, it is a conversation. Young people leave for university abroad and return with new ideas, but they return to the same landscape, the same sea, the same families. They open design studios and software companies. They also learn to row traditional boats. The Faroe Islands are building a future that includes the past. The language itself is a declaration of identity. Faroese is spoken by perhaps 80,000 people in the world. By every statistical measure, it should be dying. Instead, it thrives, taught in schools, used in government, sung in ballads, written in novels, posted on social media. When a Faroese child speaks, they speak in the same words their ancestors used a millennium ago, adapted for a world with the internet and subsea tunnels and salmon farms monitored by satellite. Why would anyone choose to live here? The question follows the Faroe Islands like a shadow. It is asked by visitors who marvel at the beauty but cannot imagine the winter. It is asked by those who have left and cannot decide whether to return. It is asked, quietly, by the young people standing at the harbour in Klaksvík, watching the ferry disappear into the fog. The answer is not simple, but it is consistent. People stay because of belonging. In a world where community is increasingly abstract, where neighbours are strangers and friendships exist through screens, the Faroe Islands offer something radically different. Here, community is tangible. It is the neighbour who ploughs your driveway after a storm. It is the fisherman who brings you extra cod because the catch was good. It is the church filled with faces you have known your entire life. It is knowing that if something goes wrong, someone will come. Always. People stay because of purpose. The work here is real. The fish that are caught feed people. The sheep that are raised clothe people. The tunnels that are dug connect people. In a globalized economy where many jobs feel abstracted, the Faroes economy remains grounded. You can see the value of what you do. You can touch it. People stay because of the landscape, not just because it is beautiful, though it is, staggeringly so, but because it demands something of you. Living here requires resilience, adaptability, patience. The weather does not care about your plans. The sea does not apologize. And yet, there is profound satisfaction in proving to yourself that you can thrive in a place that does not make it easy. In Mykines, at the western edge of the archipelago, the lighthouse keeper's cottage still stands. The last keepers have long since retired, replaced by automation, but the light still turns. Even in an age of GPS, that beam sweeps across the dark water every few seconds, a quiet reminder that someone is watching, that this place at the end of the world matters enough to mark. That is the deepest reason people stay. This place matters. The lives lived here matter. The children raised here, the meals shared, the boats maintained, the songs sung, the wool knitted, the tunnels dug, the stories told. All of it matters. Slow, connected, rooted. At the end of the day, when the light fades over the fjord and the lamps come on in the villages, when the wind settles into its nightly rhythm and the sea returns to its endless conversation with the shore, the Faroe Islands are simply home. Not a paradise, not a prison, just home. And for the 54,000 people who live here, that is more than enough. If you could spend one day in any of these villages, which would you choose? Tell us in the comments.